It's again in large part due to the fact that over the last couple of months, there seems to just be this shift in excitement and in energy. Not saying that we didn't have excitement and energy before. We've been growing every single year. We've grown year over year over year. But getting new teams and new groups that are joining the company, that are excited, that are ready to rock and roll here at Actives, it just kind of changes that energy and that excitement that you feel. And so I'm excited to kick things off and to introduce myself officially to each and every one of you. A little bit of my background. I've been in the industry now of network marketing going on almost 15 years. I started in this industry back in 2010, and leading up to that period of time, I just want to give some context. A couple years before 2010, I graduated from high school, and I had something that I really wanted to do that I thought was really important for me. I wanted to be a missionary for my church. That was a very important thing for me. And so in 2008, I left the United States and I moved to the beautiful country of Colombia. I moved there without knowing Spanish. I moved there without knowing anyone. But I just had this responsibility that I just wanted to go and get to know people and share an important message with everyone that I could talk to. And it was an amazing experience. I talked with thousands and thousands of people. I met some amazing people, ate some amazing Colombian food down there. Just had an incredible, incredible experience. And coming back to the United States after 2 years of living in Colombia, I learned a couple things about myself. Number one, I love people. I don't know if I'm expressing that too much through the Zoom, but I enjoy being around people. I enjoy talking to people, talking to people about anything. And it's one of my passions in life. And so I knew I wanted to work in something that I could engage with people. I didn't want to be a computer programmer sitting behind a screen for 16 hours a day and just going home to an apartment by myself. But I wanted, when I finished my service as a missionary, to work in something with people. And the second thing that I learned is that I loved people. I absolutely loved people and wanted to help people. In that time, I was walking every single day for over 12 hours a day, talking to a bunch of Colombians about my message. And I got to tell you, I've never met more wonderful people than the Colombian people, than the Latino people. They always invited me into their houses. They gave me juice, they gave me food. A lot of the times they're like, I don't really want to talk to you about what you're doing, but here's some juice and tell me about, your day and your life. And I'm like, that's what I love. And I knew that whatever I worked in, coming back to the United States, I wanted it to be something that actually helped people. I loved people and I wanted to help people in any way possible. And fortunately for me, I ended up working, starting in my first official job coming out of that experience, starting up in a network marketing company working in a call center. And I'll let you know that I didn't know anything about this industry. I had no idea what I was doing. I was just hired to just kind of answer some phone calls and help process orders, but I didn't understand the full scope of what this industry meant, what an opportunity like this could do for people. And I really felt bad for people that called me back in the day because I truly didn't know. I didn't understand what I was doing, but I learned over the following weeks and months about this industry, about how I, instead of just talking to average, just whatever kind of person, I was talking to people who had built livelihoods based on an opportunity. And I was talking to people anywhere that, maybe they were making, 20 to 40 bucks a month, but this was an important amount of money for them to get every single month, maybe to fill up their car, to people that were making tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars every single month, all who were completely reliant on an opportunity like this. I was talking to thousands upon thousands of entrepreneurs. And it's right then and there that I realized that this was something special and that I wanted to build a career out of. And so over the following now almost again 15 years, I've worked almost exclusively in the realm of sales within network marketing, working alongside distributors, in various capacities, from being an account manager to being a sales manager to the majority of my time being a director of sales. And I got to tell you, it's been nothing has inspired me more than listening and hearing your stories as distributors. Nothing gets me more excited than listening to your stories as distributors. And I'll tell you some of the people that I share those stories with really quickly so you can get to know me a little bit more. I am married. I don't know if you can see my screen right here. I am married. This is my wife, and I got three beautiful babies. I got a daughter whose name is Audrey. She is turning 8 in a couple of weeks. We're getting that birthday party ready right now. She's got some pretty high expectations. I hope we can meet them. We got my son Dawson, who is 5 years old, and we got what I will say is my opinion, you can have your own opinion. I think I have the most beautiful baby in the entire world. Her name is Shiloh. She is 2 years old. But every single day when I finish my job, these are the people that I share my stories with. And I go and I talk to them and I say, hey, you know what? This person came from this background and found success through what we have to offer here at Actives. And it just inspires me and motivates me to continue to work hard and to do everything that we can to make sure that you are successful with your Actives business. Now, I think one question that a lot of us get, not only you all as distributors, but us here at corporate that we receive all the time, is a very important question that you'll hear all the time in this industry. Why? Why? Why Actives? Why the products? Why this opportunity? Why? I'm sure all of you, that's the number one thing that you have to address as you're going out there and you're inviting people to listen to your story, to learn about the products, to learn about the opportunities. You have to answer that question, why? And I'll answer that question for you as to why I'm here at Actives, because it's a question that I receive as a director of sales. Prior to being here at Actives, I worked at another network marketing company, and I worked there for a number of years. And while I was there at that company, I managed a program that they had, which was called, it was essentially a program where I got to meet dozens and dozens of leaders from other companies from all over the industry, all with different product offerings. And my role within that position was to listen to their stories, to learn their compensation plans, to learn their products, and to see, try to say, like, this is why we're better. This is why maybe this opportunity is the one that you want to go for. And I'll tell you that in that experience, I talked again to hundreds of people, either talking to him on the phone, talking to him in person at events, talking to him through Zoom. And in that entire experience, I think I landed on a few key pillars that a network marketing company needs to have in order to truly be that opportunity that you're looking for. Now, again, everyone might have different opinions about this, but in my opinion, after looking at all these different companies, about hearing all these different compensation plans, about hearing all these different offerings, I narrowed it down, in my opinion, to four key things. I narrowed it down to product, compensation plan, timing, and system. Let me tell you about why I think that is and why I think Actives is unique in and of itself. Okay, starting off with product, and I don't think anyone here that's on this call needs me to reiterate how absolutely incredible our products are here at Actives. Now, when I was working in this position, I'd have people come in all the time and say, "Hey, you know what? I'm at this company. It's really great. We got a great weight loss shake, and we got these great multivitamins and all this sort of stuff." And I would say, "Hey, you know what? That sounds great, and they truly might be great." The problem is, or the challenge is that, hey, if you're offering something to me that maybe I can go and get something that is very competitive at maybe Costco or Walmart, that makes it more difficult. And your product story, isn't necessarily totally unique to you. Whereas what we have here at Actives is completely unique to us. The technology is unique to us. The product is unique to us. And more importantly, it is the future of health and wellness. Now more than ever, you're hearing about people talking about anti-aging and prevention rather than treating any sort of infirmity that someone might have. It's all about prevention and making sure that your body is optimized in the best way possible. Well, we here with our products, with our epigenetic technology, we're addressing those needs. We can talk about oxidative stress. We can talk about all of the thousands upon thousands of studies that talk about oxidative stress and talk about antioxidants and talk about free radicals and what we are doing to address that entire problem. We are at the forefront of something incredible here, and it's not something that you can find in those stores. It's not something that you can go and enter a Walmart or a Costco or a GNC or anything else. It is unique to us, and one of the things that makes me incredibly excited because we have that product story. That second pillar that I mentioned is about the compensation plan. Here at Actives, we pay over 50%, over 52% of every single dollar that we receive as a company back into the pockets of our distributors. Now, I'll tell you, working in that position that I worked at before, listening to a lot of companies out there, I'll tell you, there were a lot of companies that have very different compensation plans. They have different ways of paying their distributors. But I had never in my entire time working in this industry seen or heard of a comp plan that pays more than we do to our distributors. And I think the reasoning behind that, and I wasn't around when Actives first started, but I do know the individuals that have been here since day one, and I have been able to work with them for many, many years. I can tell you that in their experience, they understand that the most important people at the end of the day in any network marketing company, and in particular here at Actives, are the distributors. It is due to our distributors that we're able to exist as a company. It is due to our distributors that we are able to grow and expand and get more customers and distributors and grow as a company and change lives over everything else. It is all thanks to distributors. So that is the exact reasoning why, when it comes down to paying anyone, you're going to pay distributors and you're going to pay them well and make sure that they get what they absolutely deserve. And it's one of the things that I love about that. That third pillar that I mentioned is timing. Timing is a key part of this, and it's one of the reasons why I'm incredibly excited about what we have here at Actives. A lot of companies out there, they have gone through waves, they've gone through momentum, they've gone through growth. But, I think Stu Carvalho, our vice president of sales, understands this better than anyone. That if you're going to go surfing, you want to be on the front of the wave. You want to position yourself. You want to look down through the ocean, say, this thing is coming, and start paddling right in front. It's a different experience if you're trying to go surfing and you're out there in the water and you just see the wave and it's gone. And it's gone. You're sitting there and said, that would have been fun to ride. One of the things I can tell you here at Actives is we are starting to paddle right in front of that wave, and that wave is coming. I think we got a lot of people here that are on this call within the United States or in Mexico, or maybe you're working out there in the Philippines. I think in between all the markets in which we are currently operating today, we have access, and this is just in the markets in which we have officially opened and launched. We have access to over 800 million people. And that's just us getting started within the first 8 years of our existence as a company. And I'm sure that you could go, I'm just willing to make a bet that if you were to walk down the street in any city that you live in, and if you were to engage with any person that you were to talk to, whether it's in the grocery store or whether you're in a taxi or whether you're just walking around your neighborhood, I'm going to guess that the majority of people that you talk to have never heard of epigenetics, have never heard of actives, have never heard of this opportunity. That will tell you that even though that we're 8 years into this thing, you're still in front of that wave and you're still paddling, and you truly are the pioneers of this opportunity. And that is one of those key pillars in making sure that you're in the right place at the right time. And the last thing for me, the last key pillar is the system. Because at the end of the day, you can have the compensation plan, you can have the timing, you can have the product, but over everything else, you got to have something that you can point to and say, and on top of all that, we have a system that people have followed, whether they are experienced network marketers or people that are just getting started for the very first time that have no idea what they are doing. A system that people, that anyone can follow. And by following the tenets of that system, they can be successful within our company. And that system obviously is our success guide. Our success guide, and I've mentioned this many times on a variety of calls, on an array of calls, but we are very fortunate here to have members of an executive team that have decades and decades of experience, and not just experience on the corporate side of things, but on the distributor side of things as well, of building a successful network marketing company or a network marketing enterprise. And all of the secrets, all of the tactics, all of the strategies, you don't have to go on Google. You don't have to go and look at all these different books and encyclopedias to try to find the answers of what you should do, of what you should say. All of those answers were put together within our success guide. And it's one thing I will tell you that every single day I read, I study, I learn, and I review. And I would highly recommend to each and every one of you to go and check out that success guide and study it and understand that it is a proven track of what you can do on a day-to-day basis in order to take your business to the next level. And so for those four pillars are what motivate me, or what excite me. That compensation plan, that product, that timing, and again that system at the end of the day are the four pillars of what we that are holding us up here at ACTIVZ. And I would say there's a fifth pillar. There's a secret fifth pillar that kind of fits up in the middle. You know, when you look at a building, there's a pillar that's each one of those pillars is kind of on the corners. I would say there's a fifth giant pillar that's kind of right in the middle. And that fifth pillar is our people and our culture. And I will tell you that you can see a lot of different companies out there. You know, they might have, a lot of they might meet check a lot of these boxes, but you will never find better people than you have here at ACTIVZ. Our distributor leaders are some of the best people and some of the most genuine people that I've ever been able to work with in my entire life. One of the things I'll tell you, working on this side of things, a lot of people say, "Hey, do you like your job?" And I will tell people, not only do I like my job, I love my job, and it's because I love the people that I work with. I love working with the corporate team that we have, but more importantly, I love going out and seeing our distributors and hearing their stories and hearing their successes of what they're doing to change their businesses, to take their business to the next level, and more importantly, how ACTIVZ is changing lives. Nothing will inspire you more than getting out there and listening to those stories. So, kind of a secret fifth pillar right there for each and every one of you that I wanted to share with you. But I got to tell you, everyone, I'm so incredibly excited to be here. I'm so inspired by each and every one of you. And at the end of the day, I'm the director of sales here at ACTIVZ. My number one goal is to get you to where you want to go. And what I've learned here in my 15 years of working within this industry is everyone might have different goals. There are certainly people that say, I want to get to A16 within a year. And you know what? I'm going to sit down with you and I'm going to put together a game plan with you and say, this is how we're going to get you to A16 within a year. There are other people that say, hey, you know what? I just want to make a couple $100. I just want to make my car payment every single month. Can you teach me how to do that? Can you show me how to do that? Can you show me where I can focus in order to make that happen? We are here as a sales team here at ACTIVZ to make sure that we do that for you as well. So, any questions that you have about who we are as a company, if you have questions of policies, procedures, compensation plan, or anything else, just understand that us here at corporate, at the end of the day, as I mentioned earlier, we understand that our distributors are the most important thing that we have here at a company. You're never going to bother us. Well, I'll tell you, for example, how much we understand that concept. You'll see, and I'm about to introduce the next presenter on this call. Our Vice President of Sales, Stu Carvalho, prior to this call, we were all kind of sitting and talking about, kind of the game plan, what we're going to be doing. And Stu lives out on the beautiful island of Hawaii. And I'll tell you, there's a little bit of a time difference between us here, where a lot of us are in the States, and kind of depends where you're at. For myself, for David, we're located here in the state of Utah. We're on mountain time. This call happens at 9 o'clock. That's kind of a good, healthy time for us to wake up. 9 o'clock, be ready for the day. For Stu, I think right now it's 6 o'clock in the morning. 5 o'clock in the morning. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. Not only that, everyone, not only that, it's 5 o'clock in the morning where Stu is at. Stu made mention of the fact that, hey, you know what? In a few hours before that, I was actually on a call with our leaders in Japan. And so Stu, even at midnight, is talking with our leaders in Japan, working with them, helping them with whatever they needed, communicating with them, and said, "Hey, you know what? I also got this obligation here in just a number of hours. I'm going to take a quick little siesta for a few hours, jump onto another Zoom call." But again, it's that understanding of saying distributors come first, their needs come first, and that's how we're going to really go out there and inspire the masses. So again, everyone, we're excited. You're in the right place at the right time. And with that said, I'd like to go ahead and turn the time over to that same individual that I just talked about, an incredible leader, an incredible mentor that I've been able to work with, not only here, but at past ventures, who always excites me, who always motivates me. And I will tell you, you're never going to find a better guy than Stu Carvalho. You're never going to find a guy who's more willing to give the shirt off his own back to whoever he comes in contact with. A truly genuine, incredible vice president of sales that we have here at ACTIVZ. Without further ado, Stu, the floor is yours, my man. Go ahead and take it away.
Colton, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Um, I'm actually honored to be on this call with you and our CEO, David Brown, and also everyone here joining us on a Saturday. And it's a weekend. Usually, you're spending time with family or, you have games going or some kind of activity. And the fact that you're here um, on our active Zoom, active school says so much to your dedication and your love for actives. And so I'm going to share a screen here and I'm going to present my presentation by visuals. I'm a very visual learner. And I'll explain why in a little while here. All right, here we go. So for those who probably don't know me, I know we have some of our Filipino leaders that I've been talking to recently, but for others that's in other countries, whether it's the United States, Mexico, or wherever, my name is Stuart Cravalho. I'm the VP of Asia Pacific. Um, you guys also probably know, or most of you might not know, is I'm also a football coach. I love sports, and ever since Active started in 2017, and that's when I was on board with Ryan, David, Angie from the very beginning. That's when I started actually coaching a high school team near where I live, about 5 minutes from my house. But when I coach, I just don't coach to coach. What I do is I coach to be champions. I instill into our players that if you are going to play the game, the end goal is to win a championship, right? There's always has to be a purpose, and we need to go about that purpose on a daily basis with the end goal in mind is to win a championship. We've been blessed for the past 3 years to win back-to-back state champs and establish ourselves as the #1 team in Hawaii. In fact, 2 years ago, we beat the #3 team in the nation, in the United States, a private school in California called St. John Bosco that shocked the world. They've never lost to a public school, much less a school of our size ever. They only lose to other private schools throughout the country. And so for us as a public school of only 1,000 students from 7th grade to 12th grade to pull one of the greatest upsets in high school history was such an accomplishment for our players, a testament to our support for our community and our coaches as well. And so what I'm going to share with you guys today is to create a championship mindset and what it takes and what you need to do it and how it can apply to actives. So you guys all hear this in sports, right? You always strive to be the GOAT. And that's an acronym to be the greatest of all time. right? You play the sport so you can leave a legacy for those behind you to follow, to create a role and become a role model so other people can follow. That is all great, and it's said and done. But if you're just a high school player, to be a GOAT is just the first step in many years to come. And so, what I teach my players is let's not be a GOAT, let's be a pig. Let's strive to be a pig. And I'll explain what the acronym, just like GOAT is greatest of all time, what pig stands for. The first acronym or the first letter is passion. You have to have a passion when you play the game. It's a strong desire for or a devotion towards something. And there was no one else that taught me passion than my parents, that my mom and my dad raised me. And by the way, most of you guys don't know, I'm actually a twin. My twin brother, we kind of look alike when we first grew up, but now I'm way more handsome. I have a nicer body. I'm smarter. So we kind of separated ourselves over the past, I want to say 50 years, but we separate ourselves. But for those who don't know, little trivia, I am a twin. We're fraternal twins. But he has also been by my side. But my mom and my dad instill one, the first thing was sports. My dad was an average sports guy, and it wasn't just one sport. He made us play every sport. So growing up, I went from sport to sport to sport. I ended up playing 5 sports in high school, went from one practice to another, sometimes doubling it, all the way to the nighttime. But my passion was sports. But my mom taught me 3 other passions that I have held dear to my heart, which was education, family, and hard work. So I had the opportunity to attend different colleges. I went to University of Utah. I got a bachelor's degree and a bachelor's of science in Japanese, Asian studies, and minored in history. And then I got the opportunity to go on to Westminster College and got my international business, my MBA in international business, as well as my master's in education, thinking that I was always going to be an educator. In fact, I have 6 brothers and sisters. All 5 of them are teachers in the high school level, teaching subjects from math to English, Spanish, special education. And my degree was in world history as well. So I was also a certified world history and Japanese teacher. And so, as you can see, my presentations are all, geared towards students. And so I love learning, because when you learn, you can also teach, right? And that's a two-way sword, that the more you learn, the more you can retain and the more you can teach people. So my mom always told me that education is the great equalizer for anybody in any status of life, whether you're in poverty, middle class, or the rich. One common denominator that all successful people have is education. And so knowing that I have to get my education pushed me beyond limits. The second was family. I hold dear to my biggest passion. The reason why I love to coach, I love to help people, and I love this is because family. Um, Here in the Polynesian community, we have a lot of family. And even if you're not blood relatives, if you live in the community, we all refer to each other as uncle and auntie, right? Or brother and sister. So family is something that is very special, that drives me to do what I do. Finally, it's work. Believe it or not, every picture that you see here, I have done that one way or the other. This Alulik was my very first job I had at 15 years old. It was summer. I had about a month off, and my dad made me work for $3.75 an hour. That was my very first job. After that, I drive limousine. I was a waiter. I am a substitute teach. I was an apartment manager, security guard, and believe it or not, this will shock David, I was also a bar bartender. And the only reason why I was a bartender is because I was the only one out of all the workers that didn't drink. And so the manager knew that if he made me the bartender, there's no alcohol that's going missing. So as I'm reading how to make drinks, I would, be in the back there having fun. But, if there was something that needed to be done, I was willing to work for it. Then going back into, corporate things after I started graduating, I worked for a lot of computer software companies. We did integrations with eBay, coin and collectibles, on-stream media. We have, me and my business partner, we have two LNL's Hawaiian barbecue restaurants here in Japan. And then this is where things turned, is when I started my own company in 2009 called Trio Solutions, in which I help network marketing companies establish their logistics and operations in Japan. And that's when I first met our CEO, David Brown, Ryan Thompson, as well as Angie. And it was one of the best things that happened to me, because not only was I able to learn a new field, a new industry, but I was also be able to make the connections of great people. And ever since that, I've been doing things related to network marketing all the way up till ACTIVZ. And so putting in the work out of all these different companies, all these different industries, there's one common factor. If you want to be successful, you have to work. You have to put in the time to do it. You cannot fake it in the beginning. I mean, you can probably fake it in the beginning, but eventually it'll catch up to you. And so by putting in the work, by learning, by educating yourself how to become successful, to find out what your reasoning, because it's your family you're trying to support, that will push you to become something great. Here at ACTIVZ, if you have a strong desire for something, why are you doing it? Is it because you want more time to do things? Is it because you're looking for a new job? Maybe you want more income, side income, or make this a full time to make a lot of money. It could be because you want to do it for your family. One of the big things I hear people do ACTIVZ is because they want better health for themselves, for their family, for those around you. All of that ties to one thing, and we hear this all the time, is finding your why. If your passion and your why is big enough to do something, you will do something about it. Here at ACTIVZ, we have a great family support system. When I do Zoom calls here in Japan and David has a event in Mexico, he makes thousands of them say hello Japan, and all in Japanese and everything, and they're a family that's supporting the other family across the Pacific Ocean, on different time frames, whether they're within the same line, whether in different lines. ACTIVZ is a family that you can count on, that's willing to support you every step of the way. ACTIVZ has a success guide. There's educational opportunities to learn how to build your business page by page. You have active schools like how we have here. We have weekly update calls. We have the app that is accessible, that you can listen to previous recording, listen to different trainings. And so by educating yourselves, you put yourself in a greater position to succeed. And finally, the work. There in the Philippines, we just opened the market the beginning of August, and they're already putting in the work. It's past 11 o'clock there in the evening in the Philippines, and we have quite a bit of them joining us on this call because they know what it takes to be successful. And at the end of the day, hard work always beats talent when talent doesn't work. So if we can put all of that together and find your passion, that is the first step of becoming a pig. The next is the I. And to me, this is one of the most important things. It talks about integrity. It's a quality, sorry, the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles that you refuse to change no matter what happens. We always do a conditioning every day at practice, and we tell them to the line, touch the line, run to it. And there's always going to be those players that cut short the distance. The difference between winning a game and losing a game sometimes goes to inches. So, what you do some of the times, you'll probably do it all of the times. And so it's not a matter of we want you to just run to run. We want you to run with the purpose to show that your integrity is greater than putting yourself first, that the team is greater because everybody is working to go to the line. You better at least go to the line, right? And back in the day here in Japan, when we used to do business, we hardly did contracts. A handshake, your word, is just as great as if you're signing a contract. And that all goes down to integrity. I've met David Brown many times when I first was having my own company, and he was the CEO of another company. And I could tell back then, as it is now, that what he says he holds true as if he's signing a contract. And so the integrity that we have here at ACTIVZ is like no other, right? I love this. I'm old enough to watch Popeye on a regular basis every Saturday when I would be waking up. And the famous line, and I still remember that Popeye had was, I am what I am because that's all that I am, right? He won't change who he is. The only thing that changed was him performing at a higher level when he eats his can of spinach. But because he was a good person, that can of spinach just made him an extraordinary good person. And so if we have integrity from the very beginning, whether we become an A1 up to an A16, those are just byproducts of us sharing the integrity we have with people. And the other thing that I teach my players is the pillow test. Can you lie down at the ending of the day when your head hits the pillow, knowing that you did everything right, that you didn't deceive or fool your fellow men? If you can sleep at night and have that pillow test and sleep well, you know that your integrity is intact. Here at ACTIVZ, the integrity of having the best possible products, not only in network marketing, but in the industry of health and wellness supplement products, is something that David and Ryan holds dear to their hearts. We spend a lot of money researching, testing, finding out what's the best things possible for you can have a much healthier body, healthier lifestyle. There's patent pending. There's patent technology that we have here at ACTIVZ that proves the integrity of our products. And this quote I loved, and this was something that came years ago, but it still holds true. And if you read the first sentence of it, it says, "We are focused on positively affecting the outcomes of people and finding ways to lift individuals to new heights through health and self improvement." The integrity of ACTIVZ is not being the richest company in the industry, it's not increasing sales record breaking. David and Ryan's integrity is more than that. It is to you, individuals, and affecting your life to become a positive influence for you, your family, and all those around you. You'll never find a more integrity based company and executives that we have here at ACTIVZ. The last acronym, or the last letter that stands in this acronym, is generous, right? Showing you are willing to give something or to give more of something. We train hard every day, even on the weekends. Sometimes we bring them in on Sundays, depending on how much we think that they need to prepare. So we work so hard on the football field, but we work equally as hard within the community to give back to them. They're the backbone that sits in the crowd and cheers these players on day in and day out. And so if we have time, we always go and do service projects at the school, the hospital, special need camps we perform. And there's always something that we're looking for to help, because at the ending of the day, right? I might not have everything, but I have all that I need, and that is through service and by helping others, right? So the more you give, the more you will get back. Here at ACTIVZ, we have one of the most generous marketing plan in the industry, as Colton pointing out, right? We pay up to 50% on all of our commissions. It's not how much the company can make, but it's how much you as individuals can make to be successful. There's programs in place, Club 500, the car program. We're going to go on an incentive trip later on this month to Los Cabos. But everything that David, Ryan, and the whole team here at ACTIVZ is something that is more than generous in making sure that your success is also our success. And so you'll never find a company like that, right? Here at ACTIVZ, generosity goes beyond borders, right? There's Paige and Jerry that spent hours, these past couple of weeks in helping the Philippines start, right? They're on Zoom calls almost every day. We have Christina who does training. We had our executive team, Ryan, David, Angie, be on Zoom calls helping not only the Philippines, Japan, Mexico, the United States, and other countries as well. But you always find people willing to help and be generous in helping you reach your goals, whether they're in your markets or in other cross lines as well. And that's what I like about ACTIVZ, is the generosity that they have. So simply saying, PIG is passion, integrity, and generosity. You gotta love what you do and work just as hard to accomplish it. Just having passion alone will not make you successful. Passion requires action, right? And if you have the work ethic, right, and you have the education and you're studying yourself to put yourself in the position, you will be successful, right? Integrity, you become what you do each day. You'll find the character of a man and you'll understand what it is by not what he does when people are watching. It's what he does when no one's watching will show the integrity that he has. And generosity, once again, is the more you give, the more you receive, right? If we do these things, and if you believe that you can win and you play like it, you raise the trophy at the ending of the day. Don't take any plays off. You make each play count. You don't take any days off. You make that call. You follow up. You attend your weekly meetings. You attend the monthly events that we have. All these events that we'll be having throughout the year. If you make sure that you be part of that, you will be successful. And finally, football is played on with 11 guys on the field. If you try to do all 11, everybody's position or their task or the assignments all the time, you'll never be successful. But if you do just your one of the 11, if it's going out to run a pass, it's going out to make a block, right? It's going in motion or whatever it is. If you do your 111 and the other 10 guys also do their 1 of 11, that play will be successful. You'll stop the opponents. And so just like that, if we can do our 1 of 11, right, or the little things, we'll get championship awards like how we have here from Direct Selling News. We was awarded an award of having 4 consecutive months growing in sales, right? David's kind of mad with that because he say that this is a lie because at one point we were 6 consecutive years of growing our sales, even during the COVID time. Other places, business for home on the internet, we have a business grade of AA plus, and that's what they use to rank a company's investment or profitability. Do they have great products? Do they have a sound business opportunity? Do they have the management team that can take them from a startup to a multi-million dollar company? And after looking at that, they decided that we deserve one of the highest grades in a business company, which is AA plus. So we're already working and receiving accolades and awards to make us the champion of the industry itself. And just to let you know, since we're talking about pigs, these are our 3 little pigs. We have 3 success stories that you probably all heard of: Christina, Martine, and Danny. They have shown the passion to do this business. They have the integrity to do this business. The work ethic they have. We have a former newscaster. We have a former potato chips delivery person. We have a former educator, school teacher. But the passion, the work, the study that they did to be successful, along with working together with you as your family and your teammates, and the generosity in giving their time to all those that need help, has made them successful. So this is a formula that is proven. This is a formula that works. And so if we can become not the goat, but if we can become a pig, right? If we can become a pig, here in Hawaii, you probably will get eaten after you get so big and fat. But here, for the case of actives, the more pigs we have, the greater actives will become, the greater your life will become, and more importantly, the greater your organization will become. So I hope you guys can all take a note from this and try to aim towards becoming a pig. And in doing so, myself, David, Colton, myself, Becca from corporate here on this, Angie, Ryan, and the many other, executive teams and the leaders throughout the industry are willing to do everything we can to accomplish that. And so with that being said, I hope you guys got to pick up something, become the champion of your organization, become the champion and advocator of actives, and we'll become the champion in this industry so that we are not just to meet a standard, but let's develop, we are the standard for others to come. And so thank you guys all for listening, and I hope you guys got to pick up something. And following this will be one of the persons that I have truly looked up to, that I've learned a lot, not just from a business standpoint, but how to treat people, how to motivate people, how to lead with integrity, with generosity, and with passion. And that's why I love this pig. And because I truly believe that David has helped me, as well as thousands of people in different languages and in different countries, realize things that they have never done before. And so he's kind of like the Vince Lombardi, or the Bear Bryant of football, where the trophy at the ending of the day should be named after him, because there's no other CEO that cares about you individually. He knows what you do. He's almost like the Santa Claus. He has the naughty list and the good list. Most part, I hear that a lot of you are on the good list, and so that's a good thing. But like I said, it's his vision, his right, and his and Ryan's vision in creating actives. We're on our 8th year now, and we're looking to go on another 8 more years and 8 more years after that. And it's all because of you. So with that being said, David, I'll turn the time over to you.
Thank you, Stu. That was great. You're such a pig. That's usually not necessarily a compliment, but I think with you it is. In fact, I guess you could say that all of us here at Actives are just a bunch of pigs. So that's great. I love that. So and Colton, great job to you as well. Colton said at one point when he joined this industry that he didn't know anything about it. And I know this, I had the same feeling. When I first joined this industry, I didn't know anything about it. When I first met Stu, he didn't really know anything about it. Everyone here on the call today, there was a time in our life when we probably didn't know anything about network marketing. And maybe what we thought we knew was mostly negative things, that it was nobody made any money and it was a pyramid scheme and all those type of things. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. I remember Colton when he first joined this industry because I was at the same company he was at, and it was the same company that Stu was at, and it was the same company that Ryan was at and Angie was at, and others that have been on this call. And it was really a great learning experience. At that company, we had someone who was considered maybe not a pig. I guess you could call him a pig, but you could also call him a goat. He was the greatest of all time, and that was Dr. Joe McCord. In terms of the field of free radical biology, he was the goat. And at that time, we had the product that was considered the goat. It's no longer considered the goat. It's I guess maybe the second, do you call it a second GOAT, the second greatest of all time? I don't know how you say that. But we now have the GOAT when it comes to Nerf2 activators, and that's genomics. And so it's really great to be here. Stuart and Colton talked a little bit about their background. Most of you have heard about mine. You know that I'm a lawyer by training. Sometimes when you hear that a lawyer is about to talk to you, everybody gets up and walks out the door like, oh, well, we do not want to hear from a lawyer. But I'm a recovering lawyer. I haven't been, I try to get over that every single day. The trifecta helps me a lot. And so I try to think that I'm not a normal lawyer. But, I did have a lot of business experience as well. I stopped being a lawyer and I started running companies. And when I was first introduced to the company that I was running when Stu and Colton and others joined, it was a company that was selling its product, its Nerf2 activator, into retail. And it was about ready to go out of business. It was a very small company doing about $3 million a year, losing $1 million a year, and trying to sell its products through retail stores like GNC and health food stores and things like that. I had some success in retail in running much larger companies, and the company hired me because they thought I would take their product into retail and be successful. But when you're talking about something like oxidative stress, NRF2, the effect upon the immune system, the effect upon aging, and all that kind of things, that's a pretty complicated story, isn't it? And so I told the board, I said, you know what? I don't think this is the right channel. I think you need to go into something entirely different. I think you need to go into network marketing. And the board was filled with scientists and finance people, and all of whom had a very negative stereotype and connotation about network marketing in their minds. They said, oh, no way, we are never going to go into network marketing. It's just filled with, that everyone knows that those companies are selling snake oil products that aren't very good. They are pyramid schemes. They're just not good. We're not going to go down to that level. That's way beneath us. We're never going to go into network marketing. And my response to them was, well, the largest supplement companies in the world are all network marketing companies by far, much greater, much larger than any company that sells supplements into retail. And furthermore, I said the product that we have that Dr. McCord has developed is great. It's got patents. It's got human clinical studies. We know that it is not snake oil. I don't care what any other company is selling. We know that our product is terrific, and further that it's much too complicated of a story to rely upon a clerk at a store to tell you or to put on a label. You need to have an opportunity to go directly to people to tell the story. Well, they reluctantly agreed, and the rest was history. We quickly grew into a much larger company and had a lot of success, and it was great. And from that came a lot of education, a lot of great experiences that I and Stu and Ryan and Colton and Angie and many people that are part of ACTIVZ had. And when Ryan and I got together a little over 8 years ago, we wanted to build upon that experience. It was a great experience overall, and we learned a lot. But just like Dr. McCord had left that company about the same time I did and formed a company to further his research, he knew that science doesn't stop. You don't just find something and then just say, okay, I'm done. Did you know, actually, it's kind of a funny story. I think back in about 30 something, maybe 31, there were people in the United States that approached the president of the United States and said, you know what? We think that you ought to terminate and stop the US Patent Office. Because basically everything that's worthwhile has already been invented. We don't need to invent anything else. Can you imagine that if they just stopped and said, there's nothing new that's going to be invented since 1930? There's been a lot of things that have been invented since 1930. How about since last year? How about since, I feel kind of old when Colton and Stu start talking about their background. Colton talks about his children being, his oldest is 8 years old. That's awesome. My oldest grandson is 14 years old. And so it's like, oh man, that makes me feel old. But what's happened is during my lifetime and yours, there's been a lot of great inventions and a lot of great science. And Dr. McCord knew that as great as that scientific discovery was that he made, that was featured on ABC Primetime, that had developed patents and human clinical studies, that there was a lot more that science was revealing. That science, that knowledge and research does not stop. And he wanted to have an opportunity to continue that research. So he started Pathways Biosciences and continued that research. And when Ryan and I got together, we said, you know what? Although we learned a lot in that experience, our education hasn't stopped either. There's things that we think we can do better. We both talked to Dr. McCord independently without the other one knowing before we got together, and found out about his continued research and the fact that he'd developed a more potent NRF2 activator. When Ryan and I got together, we realized that as good as the previous compensation plan had been at that company, we could do better. We could help people succeed faster and to a higher level. We could not only create a compensation plan. I say we, I have to be honest, it was mostly Ryan because he is a compensation plan expert, okay? But we wanted to have a plan that not only would reward the top pigs, as Stu mentioned, people like Christina and Danny and Martine, but the smaller pigs, okay, that might not be making A16 money yet, but as an A6, an A7, an A8, could actually also start to make appreciable income that they could build upon if they chose to. But in the meantime, that middle class was going to be able to make money as well. Those are all things that we felt that we could do better. And there are other things that we felt that we could improve upon as well. And so that's why we started ACTIVZ. We really, truly wanted to activate every single aspect of our lives. As Stu mentioned, many of you joined because you wanted better health. You wanted to increase your financial wealth. You wanted to do other things. And we want to be that vehicle, that tool in your life to help you. Not the only thing, maybe not even the most important thing, but one of the important things in your life to help you accomplish what you want to be ACTIVZ. So to further talk about that a little bit, I also have a bit of a presentation I want to share. And we'll start out. Stu and Colton both mentioned some things that I want to talk about as well. We often hear this phrase in network marketing and other type of inspirational settings. What is your why? And that why might be financial freedom. It might be your family. It might be helping others while you help yourself. You might be saying that we want to change the world. And those are all wonderful whys. So let me ask you, on that path to your dreams, where are you? Are you making progress? Are you closer now to that why, to accomplishing that goal, that dream, than you were 6 months ago, a year ago, 3 months ago? If not, instead of the word why, let me ask you, why not? Why aren't you? What has happened since the time you joined ACTIVZ, since the time you first started thinking about these things that you hope to accomplish, that you hope to use ACTIVZ to move you down the road? What's happened since then? Well, let me tell you a story that I think might be appropriate. Back in about the 1700s, some monks in the country of Thailand were doing some activities, and they ran across in the jungle a statue. And this statue was a Buddha, and it was a very large statue. I think it was about 9 feet tall. It was estimated to be about 5.5 tons, huge, covered in mud, and kind of hard to see. Well, I know a little bit about mud. Okay. Some of you know that I like to run. And about 2 years ago, I ran in a marathon that I've talked about. And this is some pictures of that, and everyone else showed their family, so I'm going to show mine as well. I've also been blessed with a great family, and one of the main reasons I show pictures of my family is when people see my family, they think, and especially my wife, they think, "Wow, he must be smarter than we thought he was," because otherwise he would never have been able to get someone like that great and to have that great of a family with him. But before that race, which was my second organized race that I ever participated in, I ran in a different kind of race. Okay. And it is called the Camp Pendleton Mud Run outside of San Diego on the Camp Pendleton Marine Base. And the start of that is much like an event that we have, like this one in Monterey last month. You have lots of enthusiastic people who are there with everybody else, and they're like very excited to do something. But then quickly, the race changes. Because unlike the marathon, which is run in the sunshine and in dry conditions, this one is run on a course, a 6 mile course, 10 kilometers. And you have obstacles, you have hills, you go up and down mud. You have people spraying you with water, and you get very muddy very quickly. And sometimes you have to go over barriers and walls, and then you find pools of mud and water that you get in, and you need a helping hand to get through. But at the end of the day, you're able to, if you hang in there, you're able to do it, but you're covered in mud and you're tired, and you kind of wonder if it was all worth it. But if you're happy, if you're there with a friend like I was, you can enjoy. This is about 15 years ago, as a matter of fact. You realize that getting covered in mud is not that big of a deal. It's kind of neat. Now, going back to the story of these monks in Thailand, they found out as they accidentally chipped this mud and this stuff that was on the surface, that underneath that was actually a statue of pure gold. And they chipped away the mud, and they chipped away the exterior, and found that it looked very, very different. And the story was that this statue, made entirely of gold, estimated now to be worth well over $250 million, was created about 750 years previous to that. But in the 1700s, because they were worried the country of Thailand was under attack, and they were worried that that the attackers would come in, find the gold statue, melt it down, and sell it. They covered it up in mud instead. And so its true identity, its true value was hidden. And I think about going back to the beginning of the presentation. When we asked about what is your why, we said, why not? Let's ask some other questions. Why not you, and why not now? Have you been kind of covered in mud? I think that we get covered in mud at times as we think about, yes, we want to help others, we want to change the world, we want financial freedom, we want to help our families. But at the same time, we are going through, and when we tell people that we are involved in network marketing, they start throwing mud. They said, "Are you serious? Are things so bad in your life that you're going to try network marketing? Don't you know that nobody makes any money in network marketing? Don't you know that those products aren't good? There's no real science. They're just high-priced versions of things that you can buy in a health food store." And all of a sudden, that mud starts just kind of building up on us. Or we realize that, hey, it's kind of hard. I don't like being told no by people. I don't like being questioned by people. I'd much rather be watching TV. I'd much rather go out and play golf. I'd much rather go do something else. And all of a sudden, or maybe not all of a sudden, but over time, the things that we started out as our why we wanted to do this, kind of get covered with mud, and we lose the sense of value that we have, that golden statue underneath, and that our why has, which is also this golden dream that if we can accomplish it, really will change our world. So one thing we talked about these words, why not? Why not you? Why not now? We've talked about other words like goat and pig, but I want you this is the word that I think is the key word for today, and that's remember. And what should you remember? Well, I think that you should remember that you have this value. You have genomics, which is the GOAT, the greatest of all time. There is not a Nerf2 activator out there greater than genomics. And why is that important? Because every single person on Earth is suffering from oxidative stress. Every single person on Earth has cells that are aging more rapidly than they have to, that are being linked to more diseases and health conditions than they have to. And it's a shield. And all of these other products that we have are tremendous goats, whether it be Link, Optimend, Nitrox Pro, our Amora line, or Arrow or anything else. These are epigenetic products that are going to put your genes in the best possible state to be the best possible you. We have the science. We know it's 10 times greater. And we know that our opportunity plan, our compensation plan, and our opportunity is real. If people start throwing mud at you and saying these products are terrible, clean off that mud. Remember that you have the GOAT, the greatest of all time, and you have the science and the scientists and the doctors to prove it. They don't have to listen to you. The science is out there. They don't have to believe you. When people are asking you or telling you nobody makes any money, you can say, no, I know people are making money. I've received a check. I've received money. I know that this is possible. What are some other things that you can remember along the way? Is exactly what Stu was talking about in Colton, that we are a company filled with pigs, okay? We do have passion, we do have integrity, and we do believe in being generous. And that making it to the top is something that you're not going to be expected to do by yourself, but there are helping hands all along the way. Now, one thing I do know is that if you change your thoughts, you really can change your world. And that's where I think it really comes into the ability to accomplish what you want to, not just in ACTIVZ, but in everything else that we are doing as well. And so one thing I would hope that you would do at the end of this meeting today is remember to remember. All right? Remember who's with you today. Remember the things that got you excited about ACTIVZ in the first place. Remember the inspirational times, that the feelings you've had saying, oh, I really want to do that. Can I do that? And then remember that just as Colton and Stu said, you have the tools. You're not in business, you're in business for yourself, but you're not in business by yourself. You have a whole worldwide, think about this. You have people, speaking of family, on this call alone, we have 3 or 4 or 5 countries represented. You have family members everywhere, and everyone is pulling for you. They're probably not only hoping for your success, they're probably praying for your success. I know that I do. And I know that even if you wonder if you're able to do this, if you don't have the faith in yourself, borrow mine for a while. Because you know what? Even though I'm not very tall and I'm not very big, inside this 5 foot, okay, 7.5 inch frame is the faith of somebody just as tall as that Buddha statue, 9 feet tall. I've got a lot of faith in you and belief. And I know that you can do it. So thank you for joining us today. It's been awesome. You are the best part of ACTIVZ and always will be. And I'm grateful to be part of your family. So on that note, Colton, I'll send it back to you.
There we go. Giant round of applause for David Brown. Giant round of applause for Stu. You can give me some snaps. You don't have to do a giant round of applause for me. You can just do a little clap. But I've loved this call. I don't know about all of you, but I am leaving this call inspired. When I got a tiny glimpse of what Stu was going to be talking about with the pigs, and I'm like, I don't know if people are going to like being called pigs, and then we're all going to be called pigs. And it seems to have been one of the best things that anyone has ever called us or any of our distributors that we're all pigs. I think that's phenomenal, and we appreciate you all for jumping on and participating with us and sharing with us this morning. And I think everything's been said. The next step is to act, to go out and do. Take everything that you've heard today, take that inspiration, that motivation, those plans, everything that you want to make it a reality, that you want to be a reality, and make it a reality this month. And as we've mentioned many times on this call, if there's anything that we can do to help support you along your ACTIVZ journey, please do not hesitate to reach out to us and let us know. And mark your calendars right now, everyone, because if you like this, let's come back and do this again in 1 month. Does that sound good to everyone? So next month, Saturday, September 13th, Gotta double check that. Saturday, September 13th. We're going to be back here, same time, same place for our next active school. Make sure that you mark your calendars now. And more importantly, go out there and share to your team members that didn't join the call today. One thing that I can say about this is if you weren't on this call, you missed out. And we don't want people to miss out in the future. So make sure that they understand that, hey, you know what? You need to be on our next ACTIVZ call. You need to make sure that you're on Active School. So Saturday, September 13th, mark your calendars and we'll see you there. And with that said, everyone, let's go out there, have an incredible month of August. Let's run. And we will see you then September 13th on our next Active School. Take care and have a wonderful day.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you, everyone.
Have a great day.
Everyone.
See
Have
you
a great
later.
day.
Thank you so much, Philippines, for being on here.
Yes, thanks for staying up late.
Thank you, US.
See you
Thank you,
guys.
Mexico. Thank you, Susie.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Much, guys. I love